World Champions. It's a title that very few even come close to, let alone claim. Not everyone can score goals like Messi, claim golds like Michael Phelps, or even keep up with Usain Bolt. A select few etch their name into the history of their game through hard work, sacrifice, and sheer determination. And in Counter-Strike, that team is Astralis. The Nordics have always been a nation of Counter-Strike, but back in the early 2000s, podiums were filled with predominantly Swedish stars, with only the odd Danes sprinkled in here and there. There were a handful of Danish teams, such as Spirit of Amiga and MTW, that really put Denmark on the map, but always in the shadow of their Swedish neighbours. This trend continued into CSGO, with Swedes like NIP and Fnatic dominating the first few years of the game's life. They were tired of Sweden being the golden child. It was time for Denmark's domination. 2016 marked the inception of one of the greatest teams to ever compete in CSGO, Astralis. The original five, Dupree, Zipnix, Device, Cajun and Carrigan, alongside Coach Sonic, would come from Team Solo Mid, and they'd quickly catapult to stardom. They'd lift trophies at Frankbite Masters Season 4, FACEIT 2015 Stage 1 Finals, and PGL CSGO Championships, all within their first few months of forming. Of course, these players were no strangers when it came to being inside the server. They played on lineups together such as Dignitas, with the deadly trio of Zipnix, Device and Dupree being traced back to 2013 with Copenhagen Wolves. They'd begin to carve the way for Danish Counter-Strike to shine. These guys were some of the best players Denmark had to offer, and it was only the beginning. Astralis were different to many other organisations at the time. After leaving TSM, the five players and coach formed Team Question Mark, a stopgap between their former org and Astralis, which at the time was still under wraps. This time was brief, but they continued to keep their name in the limelight, with a victory at Red Dot Invitational and 3rd to 4th place finish at EPL Season 2.
Down happy, Deve gets the final kill of the tournament, takes down Kenny S, and that's going to close it out 2-0 in the favor of TQM. They're going to win first place here.
The dawn of 2016 will be time for the Danes to unveil the beast of Astralis. What was so different about Astralis, however, was their part player ownership. It was a new approach, and somewhat unexpected, as rumours had been circling of many high-profile offers heading the players' way. Still, the players expressed their interest in building a team, and leaving a lasting impression on the game they love. And boy, did they do just that. They take to the stage shortly after the team's unveiling at DreamHack Leipzig 2016, where they start off with a solid 3rd to 4th place finish. This run of form was continued, with a collection of bronze and silver medals at the likes of the IEM World Championships, Global Esports Cup and Counterfeit League. Then it was time for the big guns, the major. MLG Columbus 2016, the first major hosted on North American soil. They'd already secured legends from the previous major in Cluj-Napoca, where they'd lost out to NIP to drop out in the quarters. This time, they'd tear apart the group stage 2-0, and follow that up with a clinical 2-0 quarterfinal win against Fnatic.
They need rounds right now. There's not many left for them to get. Olofmeister, he's got to get it done, but he can't.
They'd step up to take on Na'Vi in the semi-finals, but unfortunately, this would go the way of their European rivals, as they knocked them out 2-0.
Now Edward finds Dupree. 5 seconds. All he has to do is stay alive. Shouldn't be time to punt here. He can't do it.
He went for the AWP instead. He went for the kill. What? Why is Cajun facing that? What in God's name is he doing?
The team would make their first roster change in May 2016, trading Cajun for Dignitas' Kirby. But unfortunately, the next major in Cologne would see Astralis slip once again. They'd place 5th to 8th, falling out to Virtus Pro. Shortly after placing 9th to 12th at WSG 2016, Carrigan would be acquired by FaZe. In his place, one of the greatest minds in CS would emerge in Glaive. The young Dane would prove a turning point for Astralis. They'd place 2nd at E-League Season 2, falling to Optic 2-1. But they'd soon claim their revenge as they lifted their first ever ECS trophy in Anaheim at Season 2. This cemented the beginning of what would be Astralis' first impressive terraform. 2017 broke with the E-League Atlanta Major, the second time Astralis would head to North America to compete in a major. They'd face the same side that knocked them out of Columbus 2016, Na'Vi. It was close fought, but Astralis would take it 2-1 and give Na'Vi a taste of their own medicine. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, Virtus Pro had been clawing their way through the competition. They were the final, huge hurdle Astralis would have to face to lift their first ever major trophy. Nuke would begin in VP's favour, blocking it in 16-12.
Nice, saw how to deal with it. Taz and Persha picking up a kill. Virtus Pro, they're coming back.
It's Taz with a triple. C set 75, and Zach's gonna get the round one throw. What are they doing?
Oh no! That's how Astralis feel.
Then, Overpass would flip to Astralis' hands in a nail-bitingly close 16-14.
Back into the game, he sees the gun barrel, headshot on one. Now comes Pasha next in line. Dupree going for it, doing the damage, and he gets it 1 versus 2.
Everything was pinned on Train, a map that had been synonymous with the Polish squad. But Astralis weren't going to simply give up. The Danes were hungry, a trait they'd become renowned for, and man, did it show.
But Taz will hit the headshot. Into the 1v1 we go in so little time. Kirby sticking the defuse, and he's gonna hit the shot, but he has no time. No way, is he gonna get it in the nick of time? He does! Unreal! Kirby!
Just like that, Astralis would put Danish Counter-Strike up there with the best.
Picked up by Dupree, they get the spray, Neo takes one, and Taz is there, and Astralis, they win the first major championship, 16-14 against Virtus.pro.
A year after the team had formed, and only 3 months after Glaive had joined the squad, they'd cement their first major title. And it would be the first of many. But it wouldn't be the next major they'd go on to win, or even the one after that.
High ground advantage. Oh, they spotted him. They definitely knew, and there's the kill. 16-6. Astralis set packing from Cloud9, who continue into the tournament. They're going to play later today to see if they can finally make the playoffs, get in there.
It was a painful result, especially after lifting the trophy only 1 year earlier. It was time for a change. One month later, Kirby would depart from the lineup to North. In his place, Magis would step up. Over the next few months, Astralis would see big improvements. The trophies began rolling in. First DreamHack Marseille, then EPL Season 7, then ECS Season 5. They looked unstoppable, and everyone was taking note. Then, the second major of the year, FACEIT London 2018. Due to their poor finish in Boston, Astralis would begin in the new Challenger stage, where they'd quickly claim 3 wins to take their spot at the Legend stage. They'd repeat the same form again here, going 3-1 and only falling to Liquid, to make their return to the big stage once again. Now it was really their time to shine. In front of a packed crowd was where Astralis flourished. FaZe would be their first victims, and a clinical 2-0 would point them straight in the direction of Liquid. For many, this was the grand final that came too early. Liquid had been looking dominant, going 3-0 in both Challengers and Legends, and were pitched as one of the favourites to take the crown. But Astralis had other ideas.
Already shown his hand, flash time so well, and he knows he can peek back out, and there's no way Twist wins against Astralis with 16-7.
Liquid were out of the running, and the only team left were Na'Vi.
This might not be over yet. There's no hit though. They've got to go fast. Simple, the second one. They have to keep going. They've got to charge forward. He misses the jump. Flamey now with the 570, he's baiting. The player on short B is red. Touching the bomb. Are they going to peek? Holding it now. And there is it. It's just down to Flamey. It's not going to happen. Astralis have won the FACEIT London Major.
It was a huge victory and an incredible accomplishment for the team, not least Magis, who would be lifting his first ever major trophy. The FACEIT Major would certainly mark the Astralis era, and after that, it really didn't seem like any team would stop them. Liquid would continue to try, but fall second to the Goliaths, IEM Chicago and EPL Season 8 finals.
One kill's gonna secure it, and that's it! The Grand Slam is dead!
It was here Astralis would claim the first ever Intel Grand Slam title. Their form was ungodly. There was just no contest. When Astralis attended an event, you knew they'd take the crown. This dominance would continue straight into 2019. And with the first major fast approaching, they were the hot favourites to defend their title. And you guessed it, they'd do it again. This time with an even more impressive win over Ents. There was no contest, they were absolutely the best team in the world.
That's all they wanted, back to back! And they've done it now!
But then the team began to start skipping events. As with any team in a hugely demanding ecosystem, the sheer volume of events caught up with them. Liquid would take the opportunity head on. Meanwhile, Astralis' results also started to slip from the relentless form we previously thought. So when it came to the Star Ladder Berlin Major, they weren't necessarily the hot favourites. But come on, this is Astralis we're talking about.
Oh, the base will take him down in the turnaround.
Heading into the Mercedes-Benz Arena, the clash of the Titans would once again come early, as they would match up with Liquid. This was Liquid's major to lose, and Astralis knew it. They'd be hungry to take them down after stealing their world #1 ranking. And in typical Astralis fashion, they would do just that.
There's Device, and there's Astralis 16 to 13.
Heartbreak would ensue for Liquid. But for the Danes, they had other things to focus on, namely the semi-finals against NRG. They'd already lost to them in the Legend stage, but in front of an audience, Astralis would shine with another unbelievable 2-0.
Oh no! Oh my lord! That can't possibly be real!
Avanga, the underdogs of the entire tournament, had slowly been working their way through the other side of the bracket and would meet Astralis in the grand finals. They put up a solid effort, but it was clear the Danes would take it. Astralis had done what no team had accomplished before. 3 major trophies in a row, 4 stars to their name, and unrelenting domination. Love them or hate them, they truly are the kings of Counter-Strike.